Are you at home or are you at work? How do you make that balance?
Welcome to the EMS Wizard podcast. I am your host, and joining me, three dashing and beautiful co-hosts, Kathia, Marcus, Walter. Thank you for joining me on my show
I'm
tonight.
dashing. I'm flattered. Who's the pretty one?
Where's
Walter,
John? Where's John?
has anybody seen John? Anybody
Yeah,
talked to him?
no. I've looked under rocks, can't find him.
You know,
Well,
this used to be the John and Terrence show.
Yes.
It looks like tonight is going to be the Terrence show with the two resident guests and the newest resident guest, Kathia.
Yes.
Which Terry just promoted us, I think, because he actually called us a co-host.
He did.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
did.
He actually
did.
called us.
He did.
some
Follow
people are
us.
salty.
I was
They're
going to say
salty about
it
it.
looks like he's a little salty.
Some people are. I'm
Okay.
not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's not my head. Don't fit my head. It's not. I got a big head.
So
I do
if
feel a little
anybody's
more
seen John,
official with the shirt.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
look
yeah,
good. Look good.
yeah,
Yeah,
got
so
new
nice.
shirts, got some new.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I'm the
EMS
oddball
Wizard
tonight.
podcast.
I didn't get the
Not
message.
bad.
I don't
didn't get
think
the
tonight.
message.
I don't think tonight you're the oddball, Walter. It's
What?
Walter's salty.
Walter Salty now?
No, never.
Marcus, I thought it was your turn to keep track of my best friend. Where is
It's not my week. My week was last week. I got two or three reels from him on Facebook, and that was it. Walter, is it your turn?
Uh, mm.
nose goes?
Nose goes.
Yeah.
Not it.
Yeah.
Not it. Not it.
Not it.
Well, if
No.
anybody has seen John, if you'll just check on him, make sure he's okay, and then if you'll just send a message back to us so we know that he's okay, it'll all be good.
Yeah. Even better
Right.
if you find him and take a picture with him, like where's Waldo,
Yes.
and tag us
Yeah.
on
Where's-
Facebook.
Where's John? There you go.
Yeah,
Where's John?
Where's
where in the
John?
Start
world?
that.
Yeah.
Where in the world is Wilson?
Where in the
What was that?
world
What
is
was that?
Wilson?
What was that
I like
one?
it.
Where in the world is
Carmen
is what?
Sandiego.
Carmen
San
San
Diego.
Diego. That's exactly
Yeah.
what it was. Where in the world is
Yes.
John Wilson? There you
Where,
go.
where in the world are the wizards?
Right.
Oh,
Right.
Maybe he is practicing work-life balance.
What is
Oh.
that?
He's got Johnny's playing travel ball. He's doing Parks and Rec stuff. He's got a whole lot of stuff happening. Got the big job. I mean, there's a whole lot of things happening in the Wilson household. I'm not saying he's doing it right. I'm not going to say he's doing it wrong. I don't know.
So, what is work-life balance?
I
so
don't.
I know you're
I
not talking
think-
to any of us.
I'm just,
Like,
I'm just
you're not.
asking. I'm just asking if somebody can define it. Tell me.
I don't know
what is
that
work-life
any of
balance?
us can really speak to it that much, to be honest with you. The only thing I can say is that the work-life balance doesn't really exist. And I think the further you are promoted into, higher levels of responsibility, the more things you get put on your plate, the more non-existent that work-life balance becomes, or and certainly the more difficult it is to be able to spend the right amount of time with dedicating your time to work, dedicating your time to your life. And then let's, even take it further than that. We typically only have like two buckets, this work bucket and this life bucket. Well, what about school and education? What about,
Ooh.
that, work-life balance 40, 50 years ago was probably pretty easy. Economy was different. There's a lot of things that was different in, society then. How many part-time jobs do we all have?
Exactly what I was getting ready
I'd
to
rather
say.
not say.
Yeah, please.
I mean, Terry,
So-
you just got your master's, didn't you?
Correct.
I mean,
And had to work two part-time jobs to pay for that on top of the full-time job.
right. I'm registering for spring and
It hurts
3
a little
jobs
bit.
and yeah.
Yeah.
You got that
Mama
other
didn't raise
bucket
no
you're adding
quitter.
to it, you know. The more buckets you add in, you have to think, well, how much time can I dedicate to each one of those buckets? Like if I know I have, like I take all the energy I have within one day and I have to divvy it up in between my buckets, between work, between life, between school or whatever, and say I'm given, I'm really enthusiastic about my job, I'm really dedicated to my job, and I'm really wanting to, motivate and inspire other people and grow and improve our EMS agency. I'm giving everything I can, but then whenever I go home and I go to put things in my other bucket, how much energy have I got left?
Do you include a
I've spent
bucket
my
for
bandwidth.
yourself? I mean, I think that's the biggest one is we create these buckets, but the
Do
last
you?
bucket we
Should
think
you?
about, you should absolutely create a bucket for yourself.
Yeah. I
100%.
mean, I should. I don't know if I do.
So let's think about, we've added all part-time jobs. So tell me what the difference is between work-life balance of a street provider, the work-life balance of a middle leadership, and the work-life balance of a upper leadership.
Mm.
The
Is
street
there
provider
any?
can clock out and go home.
Okay.
You
Street provider
know,
clock out and go home.
right. The middle
I
provider
agree. But what do they add?
may
But what do they add to that?
In
They
their second job or
other
their
they
jobs
overtime or
they add their second job, their
or an
overtime, their other
education.
things.
Yeah.
Okay. Or
their
education.
education.
So
And
I
I
would even
mean,
Uh,
say, even though you can clock out at the end of shift and and go home and spend time with your family and everything, how much of you is actually there with your family, and how
it
much of that
depends on the
from
day and
work
the calls.
is carrying over to that family bucket, right?
Yeah.
sometimes them ghosts, you can't quit them ghosts.
You can't, not in this field.
Well, let's also think about if I'm home during the day and my family is away during the day, that's still a bucket, but is it really home life balance?
Oh no, that's my time. That's me time.
Right.
That's
that's
you
just a
time. That's
me
a
that's
bucket
just a
you
me
need.
time potentially, but trying to get other
It's not
things
that.
done.
It's not that
So
family.
middle level providers, middle level people, what does the work life balance look like there?
I would say it's, like I said earlier, like it's the higher up you go in the level of responsibility within an agency, the less opportunity. I think that's probably the best way to put it is the less opportunity you have, because whenever you're on the truck and you're working shifts, I go home, I have more opportunity now that I'm home, away, and not worried about a radio, a call, or whatever. But now that I'm moving up into management, some of that downtime, some of that me time, family time, is probably picked away at little by little here and there by, your people on your shift, stuff going on at work, other managers, upper level management, whatever. And that's that middle management. I think it's like the kind of the entry to where that opportunity to be able to kind of spend some time with yourself, spend some time with your family, start to dwindle more. Fair?
Because if you're that middle level manager, and I think all of us are familiar from whether it's our travels or our own personal organizations, maybe you've got that mid level person that's in charge of medical supplies or vehicles. And so if I have a vehicle that breaks down, well, I'm gonna call Captain X because Captain X takes care of this, or what?
And they got a department issue cell phone to be able to do that.
Yeah, ring, banana phone.
Right.
Ba-doop, ba-doop.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. How about upper level, higher level, the highest level of
You're on 24 hours a day.
7 days a week. The business doesn't close. It's
It
not.
right,
doesn't.
It's not Walmart. You can't just have customer self checkout.
right.
Even if you split and let's say you can do like an on-call schedule to where you guys can try and find a work balance. You're taking all that home. You're taking all those numbers, all those incidents, all those problems or write-ups or anything that occurred that week, that day, all that's at home. Your computer's at home, your paperwork's at home. you're on all the time.
Yeah, and something else I think that kind of gets more and more complex as we go up into those positions and get up to that highest level position, whether you're a chief, CEO, whatever it is that you are at your agency. You have less people that you can consider those shoulder to shoulder colleagues that you can work with and vent and brainstorm and kind of have some of those more difficult conversations about work. Because whenever like we talk about in officer class all the time, whenever you're venting or you just need to let off some steam about something, you never complain downward to the people on your shift. You should complain to other shift supervisors, or you should complain up. And when you complain up, you should complain for the purpose of finding a solution, not just complaining.
Right.
And whenever you are the chief, who else do you vent to? Who else do you talk to? And that goes back to where we talk about all the time again, having that network where you can reach out to
Yeah.
others. So you're the higher up you go, the more difficult it gets to maintain that work life balance that we talk about, and it's more difficult to really kind of talk about the things with work, right? So I think the thing we need to kind of drill into is how do we maybe make the most out of the time that we do have? Because I can think back to, sorry, I can think back to whenever I used to work at McDonald's and I was a shift manager at a very young age. They were having some discussions with me about whether or not I wanted to be the store manager of a new McDonald's that they were building in Eastern North Carolina, and I was like, I don't know if I want to live that life because I saw what the other store managers live, and the only thing they wear every day is a McDonald's uniform. Their only conversation they have is about McDonald's. The only vacation they have is whenever they go off to a McDonald's conference somewhere. Yeah, Terry, they make some pretty good money
They
whenever
have a
you get
whole
on up
university.
there. Yeah, the whole
Yes.
yeah, the Hamburger University. So I mean, yeah, great opportunity, and I'm not bashing it at all, but you live, eat, and breathe that restaurant. If somebody, if they're running short on shift, guess who's coming into work? If
Manager.
there's something wrong, guess who's coming in to fix it? And I think it's very much the same thing for EMS, right? You get to that point, that's your life. So how do you balance it out when you get to that point?
You learn that no is a complete sentence. You have to learn how to say no to some things.
Well,
Which is difficult. We got in it to help people, and now
Right.
you're saying no. Sorry, Walter. Go ahead.
no. So, I'm gonna put a different spin on this as well. I think that the generations coming into EMS now, and I'm going to go back to the generations working as a store manager in McDonald's now, or a management position in McDonald's now, has changed from after COVID. I'm going to say it's changed after COVID. And people now probably are changing their work life balance compared to what it was and are saying the word no. I'm not coming in. If the store only runs with 3 people today, I'm not coming in because this is my only day off and I'm not doing that. And I think, you have, and I'm going to use the example of shift recalls and staying over and holdovers are probably now out there more when we're trying to get a more work life balance because the people prior to COVID, and I'm not trying to put any fingers on anybody, but prior to COVID, people were like, "Oh yeah, I'll stay and work that every time. I'll
Mhm.
stay and pick that shift up, but yeah, I'll do that." And now, what are we having to do in 2024 in September when we got to open tomorrow? What are we having to do? Can anybody please come in? I got a telephone call today from my part-time job saying, "Is there any way that you're available to do anything on Saturday? We need people on Saturday." Sorry, I can't do it. Sorry. So I think, I think we've seen a little bit of shift in that, whereas I don't know that we still have work-life balance, but I think we've shifted on the, no, I'm not doing it today. I'm not coming in. I'm not working today because people are now demanding that more. If that makes sense.
Mhm. Terry.
I thought I heard Terry's unmute button. Yeah,
I,
so I was waiting for
I
Terry to.
heard.
Nah, I mean it's just I think it's a struggle and it's difficult. Maybe it's difficult, but maybe it's the best for us giving that advice because all of us all of us take our turns in where we do struggle with it and I think I think to maintain a balance or to understand that balance, I don't know, you got to fall a couple of times or realize that imbalance. And maybe that some of that is that network of I've had to rely on that with y'all going to go to a class and hey, there's this family event that's come up. My family is more important than you know what this is, whether it's a full-time job or it's a part-time job or whatever. And you know, I've done that for y'all and y'all have done that for me. And I think that some of that's that network.
And really changes when you have a grandbaby, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a
Yes,
different kind of
sir.
Look at that.
love.
Look at that smile. Look at that smile that come on his face. Look at that smile
There's
that
his
come on his
weakness.
face.
Yeah,
Right.
because the best part, you hand that baby back. Say,
Right.
sweet baby,
Right.
sweet
Not
baby.
like-
That's what I call my daughter, sweet baby. Sweet baby, I think you need to change a diaper.
Sweet baby Caleb,
I'm not saying
change
yeah.
that diaper.
I'm not saying I won't do it. I mean, just
Right.
but
Right.
and I think that's the other piece is I touch on it a lot of times in classes or in presentations, but that family piece and to me that was kind of the one presentation about the ships and being able to show off my family with some of the things that we wouldn't be able to make these things happen. And I think in our professions in public safety and in healthcare in these 24/7 businesses, it's your family does suffer because they don't understand.
Right.
They don't understand some of these things. And Mrs. Sheehy jokes me that when she met me that I catfished her because I was going to school full time, doing my undergrad at Western and working a full-time job and working one part-time job. And my life was so regimented and scheduled. My time management was on fleek. And Kathia, where you had said, you know, you should, you know, you need to have that me time. I remember like it was 1, maybe 2 days a month where I was not working. I was divorced, you know, custody of my daughter where I didn't have my daughter and I was not actively engaged in schoolwork. And I would joke that I would have like 1 day off a month and that was not sustainable for 6 semesters. I made it happen, but some of that is
not
that
easy.
balance. Yeah.
You know, in Officer One, we have that circle on time management.
Yeah.
One of those things on that circle and time management that we all talk about is the who time. You got to take some time at some point in time. You know, this even at work, you got to take some time. Sometimes you just got to close the door and say, I got to have 15 minutes. I can't talk to anybody. I need 15 minutes. I need 15 minutes.
I set a timer.
Right. And it's almost like you need to set a timer for yourself as well to be able to say, okay, I need some time on Wednesday afternoon and I'm taking the time off Wednesday afternoon, or I'm going to go do something with my grandkid on Saturday and I'm not going to be available to be able to help you on Saturday. Or I got a kid that's got a baseball game. I'm for 3 hours at his baseball game. I'm not going to be able to talk to you. I've got to take that time. And I think that's what, you know, I think that's what we all have to think about as we go. And, you know, and some of the time management, I think for some of the new people coming into EMS, is they're coming into EMS when it wasn't a volunteer system. So it's really more of a paid system now. So they only realize and know the paid system. Like you guys joked me about the old ring down telephone and calling you at home to go and take a call and
Hoy, hoy.
a radio.
Hoy, hoy,
right?
Walter here.
So, you know, some of those people don't realize those things. But what else has changed that too is increase of pay. People are trying to increase pay to be able to help their employees so they're not having to work at other jobs quite so much. So now they don't think about, but we've got to have that time management to be able to say, hey, you know, what can we think about time management? How could we, you know, what are some advice that we can give somebody? I don't know that we are the best resources to be able to help give somebody. But I think we can tell people, here's some things that you can do. Just like my thing there, you got to take some time somewhere to be able to have that. Terry.
I think it's that time management and prioritization, because in our business, we treat everything like an emergency, but it's not. And a couple weeks ago, there was a work issue, and I broke somebody's heart, saying this is not an emergency. I will deal with this later. This is a tomorrow thing, and oddly enough, there was a family event for my grandson. We're going to his church dedication, and rolling into church 3 minutes before church starts because I'd been on the phone doing work stuff for 30 minutes before that dedication. And so that pushes me. I hadn't showered, hadn't got shaved, hadn't gotten dressed yet, doing that work stuff. And at the end of all of that, this can wait till tomorrow, and I'll deal with this for another hour or two tomorrow. So
I think my kids are the ones that sit there and remind me about time management as they get older. When they're little, you think they don't miss you. And Marley said to me this morning, she said, I wish you were my sister. And I said, why? She goes, so you could sit in class with me. I miss you that much. It's just hard.
You asked Terry.
Mm.
I was like, no, because I go somewhere and Kate counted the days down, and she was like, how many more sleeps do I have before you come home? How many more sleeps do I have before you come home? And she's probably downstairs, when I'm out up on my computer at night going, is Dad ever coming back downstairs again, or is he gonna stay up there all night? So, I'm back, it's that.
With his friends, Kate, leave him alone.
Right.
My time.
I mean, my son is 12, but I thought he was going to go to the side of, Fortnite and all these things are more important. I get a text message from him last night, and he's like, when are you coming home? I'm waiting for you. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm on my way home. I thought about you. He's like, I just want to update you on my week. Like, he just wanted me to sit on his bed and talk to him.
Right.
It's just, they remind me that I have to say no.
Right,
I'm going to miss out on things if I don't say no, or if I don't figure out, yes, this is a great opportunity to just land it on my plate. But is it something that is going to make it even more unbalanced? Is it something I can give 100% to when I'm already trying to give 100% to all these other things in my life? Am I only going to give 90%? Because if I'm only going to give 90%, then I need to say no to this opportunity and hope that if it's meant to happen, it'll be in my future.
So I like how the conversation's gone so far. As we kind of started out like, yeah, this is like going to be really difficult. There's no real answer. There's no real balance. It's just kind of a game we play continuously, and we've talked about time management being a piece. Maybe blocking out time just for yourself and making sure you're scheduling yourself and taking the time to dedicate the amount of time you need to certain things. And Terry talked about setting those expectations early on. Like talking with Mrs. Sheehy, and early on knowing what the expectations are. From Jump Street kind of sets you up for success whenever it comes to making some of those decisions. To be able to tell somebody no at some point, they'll understand better. And if I had to add another piece to that puzzle, is who are we preparing, or are we preparing anybody so that if I do say no, or that I do take a vacation and my phone's turned off, or I am out of place for whatever reason, can somebody else take care of business while I'm out of play? Because if I don't have anybody like that, and I need to pull back on some work time and invest more into family time, something's going to fail at work, and I'm going to feel guilty, and I'm going to feel bad about it and everything else. And then I'm right back into that. The scales have tipped again, more work and not enough, family or me time. Right. So I think having that person that you can rely on, that person that you can have, in play to cover your back, to fulfill your role.
Or building your team, building who you have with you, so they know, hey, they're taking a break. everything else is handled, unless the place is burning down, you can walk away for a weekend and go, I know the crews that are on got this, and they will call me, or they do know who to reach out to. But it's a team effort when you get higher up in those ranks. You have to make sure you're feeding your team overall to be able to make those decisions, and decisions they would normally run to, you be able to trust that they're going to make the right one. And you can only do that while you're there. So you can walk away. And that's hard in itself. So,
And with that, I think we have to think about new employees. And, there was a study that came out, and I think it was early 2023, late 2022, somewhere, done by NAEMT and the American Ambulance Association. And a third of EMS practitioners leave their job in the first year. So a third of the EMS practitioners leave their job in the first year. And, this is what I tell students, and this is what I used to tell some employees when they would come in, is they're going to eat you like a shark, because when they come in, they see Kathia being the new EMT or the new paramedic, and she wants to work. She's eager to learn. And they're like, Kathia, can you work tomorrow? Kathia, can you work the next day? Kathia, can you work the next day? Kathia, can you work the next day? Kathia,
Shark
can you
attack.
cover for me?
Shark
Kathia,
attack.
can you cover for me?
Shark
So
attack.
No.
and Kathia doesn't say no. She says yes, 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 yes,
Whew.
yes.
I
And
used
what
to
do
be
we-
that girl.
What did we do? We all did. We all did. But what do we end up doing now to those people? What do we end up making them do? We make them quit within the first year because
Right.
we shark attack them, and Terry's like, fake news, fake news.
You're
We
more
do
likely
that,
to be killed by a vending machine than a shark. Back to you,
but
Kathia.
we do that to them, but we don't help them grow.
Right.
We
Right,
use them, and there's no other word for it, but we use them
That-
as a warm
right.
body, instead of going,
Mhm.
hey, this person is committed. They're showing up. They say yes.
Right.
Let's help them move a step up.
Give them a
We're-
break. Give them a
Yeah.
break and let them have a day off. Give them a break.
Right.
Yeah. And and the same thing for those guys, just like you said, for building your team, to having the people to give you a break, they got to have a break as well.
Yeah.
We're not going to have them move up, move forward.
I think you have to recognize the different personalities and the players.
Mhm.
And so if we go to the, I don't know, award-winning Chicago Bulls of the 90s with Michael Jordan, and if Scottie Pippen had the ball, he played differently than Michael Jordan would. And some of the other players, Dennis Rodman, played differently than Michael Jordan. And so I'm no Michael Jordan, I'm probably more, I don't know what I am, Dennis Rodman. And so if I pass the ball to Kathia, then she's going to have a different playing style. And some of that is on us as leaders, where we talk about a word, and like I talk about one of my favorite movies, The Princess Bride. I think that word does not mean what you think that it
Why am I
means. And
not
we might use the
surprised?
word.
That's
It's a great
surprised
movie.
at all.
It's an action movie. It's a romance. I'm a sucker for a good romantic story. It's a sci-fi. And so sometimes people will say, so-and-so is a micromanager. And I think you have to realize that there's that the beauty in diversity of things. Diversity also meaning different ways to approach it, the different lenses that somebody else might look through that.
Through the lens of the EMS Whisper podcast.
Yeah. And with that, we can lead the way and transform their tomorrow.
Very good.
Oh,
Very
look at-
good.
With
Very
the stars
good.
in the background and everything.
Very good. Look at there. That's what I'm
This
talking
is
about.
The
like a
bright
beacon.
light.
This is like
Yeah.
a
And
beacon.
there's the beacon right
beacon.
there. Right.
We can tell who got a pay raise sometime recently.
This is like a whatever. This is like a beacon.
Coming through the
I
forest.
haven't had this. I haven't had this as a
coming through the
background in a
the
minute.
forest. Coming through the
Correct.
forests.
Correct.
Forest.
You can either be in the murder room with Mark, in the spooky forest with Walter, I don't know, or I can lead you to more light Mm,
Oh,
there's some
look at,
tie-ins.
oh gosh.
Yeah.
Write that one down.
To go
Yeah.
to Terry's house and watch The Princess Bride.
Hey, Terry.
Mark, you've never complained when we've been someplace and we've watched that movie.
Jesus. Hey, Terry.
Uh-huh.
We're starting to come to an end. So I got one final question for you.
Fudge.
There it is.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Hey, Terry.
Huh?
Hey, Terry. Do you have
Hey,
a best
Walter.
friend? Do you have a best friend?
Oh.
It's me. It's me. We're matching
Easy answer.
tonight. Yeah, we're matching tonight.
We always
Glasses,
always
shirt.
ask the guest. So I think the guest in turn will ask the Terry Missing John show.
Yeah.
Terry, do you have a best friend?
He's searching ChatGPT right now for a good answer.
He is.
Because ChatGPT has a lot of great words, but what it's missing
Is a best friend.
my heartfelt words. And so a couple things, we talk about a best friend, and on our previous episode, I think that was we've had some really good answers over the last year plus of asking other people that question. But there's a buddy of mine, Albert Eaton, and Albert is a retired helicopter pilot. He flew medevacs in North Carolina and in Virginia, the Virginia State Police. And when he would see paramedics, he would say, "It's my favorite paramedic." And he would talk about, "You're all my favorite paramedic." And Walter, y'all are all my best friend. Thank you.
Sure that I believe that, but
I'm not buying it.
Okay.
I'm not buying that. I'm
Mrs. Sheehy
that was
likes
late on
all
kinda
y'all
thick.
better than she likes. Mrs. Sheehy likes all y'all better than John Wilson too, and so she actually doesn't call him my best friend anymore. She calls him my boyfriend.
Wow.
Couldn't you call your boyfriend and ask him that? So she's like, "Mark Casey's so nice. He's so sweet. Kathy is funny, and she's got great fashion sense. Walter, his wife owns a store that has amazing clothes and all the things fit me. And he's nice, but he's sassy."
He is. Walter, you are very sassy, and I love it.
Sassy Walter.
It's
Salty.
Salty.
Walter.
Salty Terry.
Salty Terry.
I feel like you didn't answer the question appropriately.
Somebody's upset.
Well,
Salty.
gentleman never
Pass me that
asks,
hat.
and a lady never tells. Yeah.
Cut.